This is Nuttyrockchick, and I'm here with...
Hey guys, it's Bossman. How's everybody doing?
I did put a link for what we're going to be talking about in the description. If you can't see that, what I'm doing is I came up with 10 questions, format, and that I'm going to comment on. And it's just a few things that have come up recently that I thought, when people were asking for Q&A questions, I thought maybe me and Matt could do it as well and sort of join in the conversation, if that makes sense. Right.
I'm down.
It's going to be funny because he hasn't read all the questions. Okay. Question 1. What do you think of WWE releasing a 3-disc Owen Hart DVD? And have you heard Bret Hart's comments on it?
I haven't heard all of Bret Hart's comments. I've heard that he believes that the DVD is not up to par. I believe certain people have said it's the shits. But I didn't really understand why, but other people have started to tell me why. But I'm excited for the DVD either way. It's way overdue. And this is a way for us to finally, as fans, by purchasing the DVD and supporting Owen's DVD, to give him his just due.
Yeah, I very much feel like it's a step in the right direction. If we can get the DVD and everybody's happy with it and there's not a big controversy over it, then hopefully that's one more step to getting Owen in the Hall of Fame, which I think is what we all want. That for us, that's where he belongs. He deserves to have a place next to his brother.
Yeah, and I personally think this is going to be the highest selling DVD they've ever had, meaning WWE as a company. I believe that because we wanted Owen to have a DVD for I don't know how long now. We wanted to show our love and support and admiration for his career, and now that we're finally getting it, it's like I don't think any Owen Hart fan is gonna say no, I'm not gonna get this. And any hardcore WWE fan, they're gonna get this. So I think, and I hope that Martha, his widow, is blown away by it and decides these fans really do love him, and it's not about what WWE wants, it's about what the fans who love him want.
Yeah, it's when I was listening to Bret saying that Martha was a lot of the reason that he didn't think the DVD was going to be any good, and he was saying that the fans want to celebrate his career, and I was like, yeah, we love him too. We loved him too. We want to.
Yeah, and so I hope, regardless of how the DVD turns out, I will get it, and I know a lot of fans will, and I hope that once it is released that Martha sees how the fans are, and then maybe she'll decide to tell Vince, maybe we should re-release it with everything you guys wanted to do with it.
Yeah, like do a special edition.
Yeah. and I hope that she does relent after the DVD release and it goes well and stuff, and decides to let Owen be acknowledged and put in the Hall of Fame, because that's ultimately, like you said, what we all want. And once Owen goes in, then Davey Boy can go in. You know, and I'm sorry, I know Stu Hart and the whole Hart family is already in the Hall of Fame, but they both deserve to be acknowledged individually.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's my take on Owen's DVD, and the whole thing is that like you said, I just hope that, just like Bret's DVD, when he first talked to Vince, and they did that DVD project back in '05, I think it was. I hope that this, for Owen's family and for Martha, is a real step towards healing.
Yeah. I feel like, in a way, she's stopped us from being able to express our fandom and our appreciation for him in the way that we want to as fans. And I think if she does say the genuine outpouring of people and the amount of love people have for Owen, that it might help her to an extent.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we don't know him. He's not been our husband, but he has been part of a lot of people's lives. He helped shape a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just use this as an example. I have a friend who's an independent wrestler, who, in tribute to Owen, he told me he laces up his boots the same way Owen did every single time he laces up his boots. You know, it's a small thing, but it's what he does. So I'm sure that he's going to purchase the DVD. Knowing him, he'll probably purchase 3 copies of the DVD. You know, but Owen did affect a lot of people's love of wrestling and wanting people looking at him and wanting to get in the business because of Owen. You know, so, you know, you still have people I know that pull ribs on each other, that they've heard Owen did them, so they try them. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I really think that all this hopefully will go in a positive direction.
While we're on the topic of DVDs, we're moving to question 2. Apparently, we're getting an NXT DVD in 2016. If you had the choice, which 3 matches have to be on that DVD?
I know it's really recent, but for me, Sasha Banks versus Bayley for the NXT Women's title from Brooklyn definitely has to be on there. Number 1, numero uno for me. Sami Zayn versus Cesaro is the second one, and then the third one, it's kind of a toss-up for me, because those are the 2 main ones I like, but the third one, if I had to pick, would be the ladder match between Adrian Neville and Bo Dallas.
Yeah,
from the most recent NXT era, anyway, because I haven't seen a lot of the old NXT / FCW stuff.
I don't think they're including the FCW stuff. I think it's very much the NXT brand.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with you on 2 of your choices. I would definitely put Sasha and Bayley on there. I would also put Charlotte and Natalya on there.
Yes, that was the other one I was thinking too.
And either. Oh, this is where I get really torn. Either Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor or Sami Zayn versus Cesaro. I think both should be included. I'm not sure which. I love Sami Zayn, and I do, but there was something special about the Beast in the East show because it was a different flavour.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that that NXT as a brand is very good with. It giving you something different.
Before we go to the next question, I want to pull an audible on you. I've been presented with this question a lot. Do you think NXT as a brand is growing at too fast a rate? Do you think it'll be sustained?
I think it's going to have peaks and valleys. There is going to come a point where they've taken the bulk of the really good guys from the indies, and they're going to have to really work on developing their homegrown guys. And I think when it hits that point, it will take a little dip. But as an old friend of mine, Truth Slayer, once said, if you really appreciate something, put your money where your mouth is. As you know, I have NXT t-shirts, and I have purchased tickets for NXT Nottingham and for the first UK tour, and it's just been announced NXT has sold out their London venue.
Wow, that's going to be amazing. Because I think that show is going to be on the network. You mean the O2 Arena show?
I think it is the O2 Arena. I'm not sure, but I think it is.
That one's supposed to be on the network. So, yeah, my opinion is they're growing, but they're growing at a fast pace, but it's a sustainable rate because it's being run by Triple H. Paul, he's not going to make too big of a mistake. This thing is too much his baby. This is too much his proving ground that, God forbid, when the day comes that Vince steps aside or whatever happens, that he's ready to take the reins of the overall group. So he's not going to let this thing falter. He's just going to where the fans are demanding he go. So I think people saying it's growing too fast is just being scared because they're getting what they want for a change, and because of what WWE does to them with their regular base product, they're wondering when the other shoe's gonna drop.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying about that.
Yeah. So that was my sidebar question. So on to the next one.
If you could go back in time and watch any 3 pay-per-views live in the arenas they were in, which ones would you love to have been at?
Well, WrestleMania 12, top of my list. I know people say the crowd was bored with the Iron Man match, yada, yada, yada. But with all the history that match made and how perfect of a match, in my opinion, that was, I'd have to be in the arena for that one. I would definitely want to be in the arena for WrestleMania 17, Rock vs. Austin 2. Because that, not just that match, but that whole card was excellent from top to bottom. And then I would have to say, believe it or not, I would want to be in the arena for WrestleMania 30, for when The Undertaker's streak ended. I would just want to be there to actually feel the energy leave that building. As morbid as that sounds, that had to be a crazy ass feeling.
Yeah, I can understand that. Well, my one obvious answer is the very British answer, and that would be SummerSlam '92.
Well,
I would have loved to have been in that crowd, to see just the Bret and Davey Boy match. They very much stole my heart on that show, and I would have loved. I would have loved to have seen that live. Like you, WrestleMania 17, but more for the TLC and for Angle Benoit than for the main event. I do like that match, don't get me wrong. I'm never going to object to Stone Cold. He's lovely, bless him. But yeah, I think most wrestling fans would either say 17 or 19.
yeah.
And my third one would be WrestleMania 13 for Bret Stone Cold.
Yeah, that's another one. You know, and this is a quick sidebar, but you know, my 5 best wrestling matches I've ever seen are WrestleMania 12, Bret and Shawn, WrestleMania 3, Savage and Steamboat. You know, then you have Bret and Davey, SummerSlam '92, but then you have, you know, just and Undertaker Shawn, the first one at WrestleMania that would be like, I don't know what number I'm on now, 3 or 4, but you know, that to me was another great one. But my 5th one, you know, as of now, and it's not because I'm on an NXT kick, it's just because it's the most beautiful match I've ever seen. Bayley and Sasha. Because they went out there and they put on a match that the boys couldn't follow. There was no way. They would have had to kill each other in the middle of the ring.
They told a beautiful story, and when they tell a beautiful story, it's addictive.
It just shows when people get out of the way, what beauty can happen in a wrestling ring.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that was another sidebar. But anyway, you asked me these questions and then it makes me think of other things.
If you had the opportunity to spend one whole day with any wrestler, not Diva, who would you pick and what?
Actually, this question's hard for me because I've actually spent 2 days, well, 1 day with 2 wrestlers in my life. Once I spent the day with Stone Cold Steve Austin, because a physical therapist that was treating me at the time actually grew up with the McMahons and in Greenwich, and she actually called Stephanie because they're friends, and they sent a letter to my house on WWE Standard and invited me there and said, who would you want to meet? And I ended up meeting Stone Cold Steve Austin, and in back of the Hartford Civic Center, and I thought we were just gonna say, hey, and that was it. Well, we got there early, and I was able to spend a good amount of time with him. And I met people, and I talked with him, and he actually told me, when I told him what I wanted to do with my life, with being involved in wrestling, he actually looked dead in my eyes and said, I know you can do it if you want to do it. And the other person I spent time with was John Cena back when he first became champion and first was kind of popular. He would do autograph signings at, malls and stuff. And I went with a friend of mine to help out, and we set up and stuff, and I'm about ready to leave, and John takes a water out of a cooler that's next to him and goes, hey, where are you going? And I was like, oh, well, I'm about ready to go. And he's like, you're not going anywhere. And we ended up sitting behind the table and chatting a little bit before a lot of fans showed up. And then after that, we were supposed to go to lunch, but he ended up not having time. And I actually walked with him in a crowd of people. I walked with him through a Best Buy to buy a TomTom navigation system, and that was by far the weirdest experience I've ever had in my life, because people were wondering how I knew him, but so I've actually done that, spent time with guys, and it's fun, so.
But if you had the choice to spend a day with anyone now, who would you pick?
With anyone now, who would I pick?
Yeah, well, I mean, in the current time, not necessarily on the current roster, but as they are.
As they are now, I would like to actually have the opportunity to sit and meet with Vince, of all people. Just because I'd like to, actually, because he's a very open person from what I understand when it comes to people who love the business, I'd like to pick his brain. And after I picked his brain, I would, obviously try to show him how much I love the business and see what happens, just see like, you can hire me, I'm available. I'll help you write stuff. But it would have to be.
You're probably going to be a little bit shocked by my answer.
Yeah, well, do tell. I'm actually curious.
Because I do have big favourites, which most of you know.
Yeah.
But the guy I would actually want to spend a whole day with is Chris Jericho.
I'm not shocked by that. I'm not, because he's a very interesting person.
Not just because of what he's done in the ring, but because of his band, and because he's got such an amazing knowledge, not just for the wrestling business, but for music and current affairs. And I can imagine literally sitting and talking all day with the guy and not getting bored and not being uncomfortable. I just think that would be an amazing experience.
And I totally get it, and that's an awesome choice.
Because as much as I love Sean HBK, I always will.
You're not into hunting.
No.
You're not much of a hunter, and you're not much of a fisher. I know you well enough to know that.
Yeah, I would love to sit down and have a half an hour conversation with the guy, but I don't think I could spend a day with him.
Especially if the conversation turns to Jesus. Then it would get really awkward.
Okay, this is an interesting one. If you could get
Okay.
the absolute truth and answers about any moment in wrestling history, what would you want to know?
Honestly, because there's been so much conjecture and rumor and people's thoughts on it, I want to know, was the Montreal Screwjob a complete work? Was it real? Was it half real? Was it a quarter real? Was it all? You know, I want to know definitively, did Bret just orchestrate the most realistic thing we've ever seen in the history of the wrestling business and go with it? And maybe at the end, if it was orchestrated, maybe he did get hurt because he didn't realize how real this shit was gonna be. But that's Bret Hart's.
People are gonna hate
Sorry.
People are gonna hate me for my answer, but
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna say this: Bret Hart's screw job is to wrestling what the Kennedy assassination was to politics and U.S. history, in my opinion. What's yours?
what happened with them all?
Hang on.
Because I know what I believe.
Your camera
Brain
keeps
scan.
freezing.
But I would love to have say yes, he is the demon that everybody says he is, or no, he was suffering from serious mental health issues due to concussions. I would love to have that absolute truth to be able to be able to understand the guy who wrapped his arms around his child at WrestleMania when he won that child, because I still love his matches, and I can't.
Oh, shit.
Sorry about that. Apparently my internet just had a bit of a flip.
Yeah, well, it's been cutting you in and out on me the whole thing. So.
Oh, I hope it's not done that on the video.
Yeah. Well, we've been doing pretty good, so sorry for the hiccup, guys. But what were you saying about the whole Benoit thing? That you just want to know definitively.
Yeah, I don't understand how the person that everybody talks about and the person who did that could be the same person. I find it. Yeah. I can't justify it in my own head. So yeah. I would like to have the answers, so that I could put it to rest in my own mind, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's so many votes about Benoit's issue that don't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, I've heard of somebody snapping, but not the way he did, number one, supposedly. Number two, there's so much, like the messages he left Chavo Guerrero. And then the last time he spoke to somebody saying, somebody's at the door, hang on. And then there's a report out there that there's an actual report that says Kevin Sullivan was trying to get a hold of his ex-wife Nancy, and Nancy gave him the address and all this stuff. It's just, there's so many unanswered questions, and I just think it was so easy for the police and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, which is Georgia's own version of the FBI, to wrap it up into a nice, neat little bow and say, oh, we found, CTE in his head, and he's writing these rambling letters, and it's steroid abuse, this, that, let's just wrap it up into that. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's how I feel. To me, it doesn't make sense.
And the way I would like to know.
Absolutely.
And the way they were all found with Bibles by them and crucifixes. I'm sorry, a mentally ill man, as mentally ill as Benoit was, supposedly by the report, you don't do that. You don't think about that. I don't think. It's so strange. But what's even stranger is the Benoit movie that's coming out with Liev Schreiber, one of my favorite actors, is playing him. And that, out of all the wrestling movies that aren't WWE related, this movie, I'll watch it, but it's gonna make me feel awkward the whole freaking way.
Yeah.
But anyway.
On to a Sophia topic. What is your first wrestling related memory?
I've told you this so many times. I was. Yep. I was 6 years old, flipping through the channels, and I flipped past wrestling, and then I flipped back to it, because up until then I hadn't actually saw it, but I knew what it was, so I flipped back to it, and I yelled to my mom, and I go, Mom, could I watch this? And she pops her head in and sees I'm watching wrestling and just smiles and laughs and pops her head back in the kitchen. She's like, yeah, of course. Come to find out, when I was a baby, my grandfather, who died the year after I was born, used to take me in my baby seat and bring me up to his room, and we used to watch wrestling and roller derby on Saturday afternoons when I was a baby. So that's the only way I think I knew kind of what it was, but I remember just flipping past it, then flipping back to it, and knowing what it was, but not ever seeing it before. So that's my first wrestling-related memory.
And as much as Matt's told me that lots of times, he's heard mine lots of times as well. Much like Matt, I was flicking through the channels. And the first thing I heard, if I can be cheeky and play a couple of seconds, I think I'll get away with a couple of seconds, won't I? You're allowed 5, aren't you? You're allowed 5 seconds of music.
Yeah.
I literally turned over and this was the first thing I heard.
Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know, that is the theme song for the Rockers, which was Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels, and they came into the ring in coloured clothes with loads of energy, and I was just enthralled.
Yeah.
And so my passion began.
And
so I blame Shawn. It's all Shawn's fault.
Yeah. And as a little sidebar to me, I can remember the first wrestler I actually saw when I flipped back was The Undertaker's entrance. And I was younger, so it scared me. But boom, it was, this is awesome. So anyway, that answers that question for me. What was your next question?
So I was actually just trying to access the chat for the video because I can't actually see it at the moment. So if you are leaving comments, I will get to them once we finish the 10 questions. I'm not ignoring you. I do want to hear what you've got to say. So do leave comments, and I will read some of them at the end. Where are we? Okay, question 7. Right, I'll make this one very clear. What 3 moments stand out in your memory about watching wrestling as a whole? Not necessarily an epic match or an epic promo, but something little that hit you and stuck in your head.
Oh, something little that hit me and stuck in my head.
Yeah, if you think back and you just think of wrestling, what moments sort of come to you and you go, yeah, that's something that really hit me at the time?
WrestleMania 19, after Rock got the 3 count on Austin, and they said what they said, and he rolled out of the ring, and Steve, broken, beaten up, battered, I just somehow knew that that was his last one. And you know everything I'm going through physically with my disability and my injuries. Knowing what he went through with a hurt neck, a hurt back, and everything, that moment sticks out for me, just knowing that's it, it's over, you're done. That's my first big one. The second one that made me just electrified was when Hogan and Rock, just seeing them in the same ring, about ready to fight. They hadn't even touched yet, and it was on, you know. And then my third one has to be when you had Michaels, Taker, and Triple H at WrestleMania 29. 28. When they did the Hell in the Cell in Miami, and watching the 3 of them on the ramp when the match was over. That's my third one. Sorry guys, Nutty's videos seem to go out again. I don't know if you're getting me still, but she seems to be having a problem with her video. yet again.
Are we back? Am I back?
Yeah.
Yay! Sorry,
Yep.
slight technical issues. I apologise, everybody.
It's okay. We're gonna get through this.
Oh.
This is our first one back in a while, guys. So you're just gonna have to bear with us. Well, she works out the kinks on her end. I'm surprised my computer hasn't blown up yet, but let's not jinx ourselves.
Oh, it's a bit of a nightmare. I'm not getting any echo at the moment, am I?
No, but your video keeps freezing and it's annoying the fuck out of me.
Well, I've connected it to my phone. Going to now.
It froze again, but okay. This is. Don't make me go over there to England and abuse your computer, because I will. I'll take a cricket bat to it.
Oh, I was trying to see the comments, but I don't think there are any, so I think we're all right.
No. But,
Okay,
no.
where was I?
Question 8. Well, you didn't tell me your 3 moments.
Oh. One of them's really stupid.
Okay.
And those who know me have heard me say it before. But it really hit me because I was very young at the time. The first one was the first time The Undertaker came out.
Yeah.
In 1990. Was it 1990?
Yeah. November of 1990. It was in the capital of where I live, so.
Yeah, I
know
just remember thinking that he was scary but really cool.
Yeah.
And it was one of those moments where I was transfixed to the television.
Yeah.
My second one is a really silly one. Well, it's silly to some people. I was a massive Jake the Snake fan. And there are only edited versions of it now. But when Earthquake squashed Damien, his snake.
Yeah.